Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming along here today. I hope my presentation isn't wasting your time, and I hope you will find it interesting. The purpose of today's presentation is to discuss about telephoning etiquette. Before we start the presentation, let me introduce myself first. My name is Mayopi Prayuka. I am a student of Visual Communication and Design. I know you must be questioning about the correlation between telephoning etiquette and visual communication and design. But don't be worried, because communication is still part of visual communication and design, and we learned it in our study. So telephoning etiquette is still in my capability. So without any further ado, let's start. Okay, at the first slide, I will tell you about the important things of answering the telephone. The first things is pick up the phone in 3 rings. What does 3 rings mean? 3 rings mean is the third ring in phone call. So the first things is the the perfect moment to pick up the phone or the call is in the second or the third ring. No less, no more. Second things, greet the caller. Why greet the caller is the important things in telephone. It's because greeting is the early moment when you could build the customer mood. Will you meet the good mood for the customer or build the bad mood for the customer? Third things is give your name. Introduce yourself is a simple things how you to socialize to people. In telephone, introduce yourself is part of important things too, because when you introduce yourself, you will make the customer feel more close with you, and they will still know about who they talk to. Or over the customer for help. It's important because when the customers call you, they must looking for help to solve their problems or to tell them what they want to know. So that's why offering some help to the customer is part of important things in telephone. The last things is the greeting is the key, because in greeting you could set your tone of voice and your style of the whole interactions. It's important because it will make the communication become good. Okay, next, telephone etiquette. At the slide, we can see there is 86% of telephone is tone of voice, and the rest of it is words. We could see that tone of voice is more dominant than words in telephone. It's because when the customer calls you, they actually don't really need unnecessary words for them. So they just want to know, they just want to hear what they want to know. They just want to hear something that could solve your problems. So no more words, no more unnecessary words. That's why words only have 14% in telephone. And why the tone of voice has 86%? It's because tone of voice is like a life uh, in communication and telephone. When you give a good tone of voice, it will make the communication nice, or it will make the communication clear and good. So that's why the tone of voice is more dominant. Next, tips for the telephone etiquette. And the first tips is something that you need to prepare. And there are computer, pens or pencils, and notepad. You need these things to note or to write some things that customers say. Okay, next, this is the tips when you are in telephoning. The first is answer calls by the second or the third ring. That's what I said to you before. Second, smile as you pick up the phone. Smile means is smile in your voice, and this means to tone of voice, like what I said before. The third is use your telephone voice. Telephone voice is the voice that you must say words clearly. And the fourth is project an enthusiastic tone but keep it natural. So you need to show with your tone, by your tone, that you are enthusiastic about your customer problems, but you need to keep it natural. So it will still make the customer feel comfort. Okay, the last tips is greet the customer and introduce your company and yourself. Okay, next, the tips when you are in a conversation. Focus on your customer. Why? Because your customer is the main subject in telephone. Every information and problems come from them. So that's why you need to focus on your customer. Second, keep the articulate clearly and speak distinctly. It's because you need to make the customer only focus on their problems and their things. The third, use simple English. It's because you may have many customers from many countries and have many different language. So simple English would make the communication clearly and easily to understand. The fourth tips is use action-specific words and directions. So you need to make the words and the directions specific and easily to understand. Okay, then use the customer's name. It will make them feel respectful. Okay, the last tips is always speak calmly. It's important too because when you in telephone, you may meet many customers in many emotions and situations. So by speak calmly, you may keep the communication neutral. Okay, next, this is the tips that some things that you never say in telephone. The first tip is never say I don't know. Why? Because when the customers call you, the only things they were looking for is help. And if you say I don't know, it would sound rude and a little bit ignorant. So they wouldn't like it. Rather than say I don't know, you may say I will try to find it out for you, Sir Bobby. Example like that. And the second tip is never say I or we can do that. It's still the same with never say I don't know. Rather than say I can do that, you may say I will try to do that for you, Miss Carol. Example like that. And the third tips is never say you'll have to. It's because it would sound that you comment to your customer. Maybe some of your customer wouldn't like it. So rather than say you have to, you may find a better words that doesn't make your customer feel commended. And the fourth tips is never say just a second. Yeah, as we all know, that these words mean that you will make the customer waiting, and they are really hate waiting. Just never make them wait. And the last tip is never say no. Yeah, it's still same with never say I don't know and never say I can do that. So rather than say no, you may say uh, yes. I think there's no words that better than yes. So just say yes. Okay, next, handling irate customers. So the first things that you need to do is let your customer tell your frustration and you just listen. Listen and listen. After you finish their words, you need to show your empathy. Uh, you need to show that you are enthusiastic with their problems and their things, but without react that you agree with them. So you need to keep neutral between your company and your customers. You need to be here in the middle between these two. The next phases of telephone. First, opening the call with greeting and introduction. I have already told you about this. Second, building rapport and identifying customer need. And the third, collecting or verifying of information. Yeah, just as simple as you listen to their problems or what they want to know. And then the fourth, provide customer solutions or information. So this is as simple as the solutions of your problems. And the fifth, get customer buy-in, then close the call. After you solve your customer's problem, try to offering your customer uh, about your company services or your company products. If they choose to buy it, it will be good. But if they don't, no problem, because you will always meet the two chance. So just try to offer that. After that, close the call politely and respectfully. Okay, maybe that's all about my presentation today. I'm sorry if my presentation is not too good. I'd be very happy to answer any questions of you. And thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen.